This is 6 Minute English from bbclearningenglish.com.
Hello and welcome to 6 Minute English. I'm Callum Robertson and with me today is Kaz. Hello, Kaz.
Hello, Callum.
Now, if I say to you Tinseltown, where am I talking about?
I think you're talking about Hollywood, a land of dreams.
I am indeed, and if you think of Hollywood, what images come to mind?
Blockbusters, the silver screen, but above all, that strange sign in the middle of nowhere, up on a scrubby hill, that spells Hollywood.
The Hollywood sign, and that's the topic of today's programme. And today's question is about the Hollywood sign. It was first put up in 1923, but at that time it didn't say Hollywood. What did it say? Was it A, Hollywoodville, B, Hollywood Town, or C, Hollywoodland?
I'm not sure, but I think possibly Hollywoodville.
OK, we'll find out if you're right at the end of the programme. Even though the Hollywood sign is so famous, it was in danger of being demolished, as there was a plan for a property company to build luxury homes on the site. However, the 9 letters were saved by a donation of $1 million from Hugh Hefner, the man behind the Playboy company. He spoke to the BBC about his involvement in the project, and Kaz, he calls the sign an iconic symbol. An iconic symbol. What does he mean by this?
Something that everyone recognises, that's really famous, but above all, it's iconic, it's sort of duplicated. You see it a lot all over the place, but it represents something other than just the words or the picture that is being shown there, maybe an idea.
Hefner had already been part of a group that had raised money to protect and renovate the sign back in 1978. So was it an easy decision for him to write a cheque for $1 million this time round? In his answer, he compares the Hollywood sign to another famous man-made landmark. Which one? Listen out for that information. Here's Hugh Hefner.
In a real sense, yes, it was, because quite frankly, the sign is more than a sign. It is an iconic symbol of... I made the comment early on, back in '78, that it was our Eiffel Tower. But in many ways it is more than that, because it represents, to a great many people, the dreams that are reflected in the history of Hollywood. Dreams of all things possible.
So, Kaz, was he happy to put money into saving the sign again?
He certainly was. For him, it represents the American dream, somewhere or something where all things are possible.
And what did he compare it to?
Back in 1978, he called it our Eiffel Tower. Now, the Eiffel Tower, of course, is the iconic symbol of France, all things French. But he went on to say that it's more than that, because the Hollywood sign is more of a symbol of hopes, dreams, and aspirations, because that's what Hollywood represents.
Can you think of any other landmarks that have the same kind of associations, the same kind of iconic status? For example, what about here in Britain?
In London, we have Tower Bridge. Not London Bridge, but the bridge that opens, that everyone knows about. I think that's a real icon. And, of course, the Houses of Parliament and the Tower of Big Ben.
These are all very famous landmarks, but are they more than just tourist attractions?
I think they're certainly more than just tourist attractions, because these things are iconic, so everyone has seen them, and the old saying is that you come and actually look at the pyramids, or you look at the Eiffel Tower and you go, yep, that's exactly what it looks like in the postcards. But that's not the point. You make the pilgrimage to that thing to see and feel that special quality that these icons have. You've actually been there and witnessed it yourself.
Well, Hugh Hefner was asked if the Hollywood sign was more than just a tourist attraction. And he talks about how it represents the best of America. And he said that it represented the best of America more than another American institution. Which one?
Absolutely. Quite frankly, I think that whatever America represents around the world, the best of what we are, comes essentially not from government, and essentially comes from the movies. It comes from Hollywood. It's an immigrant dream that came from the films of Frank Capra and Ford and all the other filmmakers down through the decades. And it has influenced generations. It influenced me, and hopefully it will influence many more in the future.
Kaz, what's he saying there?
What he's saying there is that America is represented by Hollywood and not by the American government. And Hollywood represents the dream of the immigrant, because America is, after all, a nation of people who've, by one way or another, migrated over there. But in the American dream, anyone can be successful.
Well, we're nearly out of time. Before we go, the answer to the question from the beginning of the programme. What did the Hollywood sign originally say? Kaz, you said...
Well, I said Hollywoodville.
Well, you'd be wrong to say that. The original sign actually read Hollywood Land. That's all from us today, but do join us next time for another 6 Minute English. Goodbye.
Bye.